Fantasy-based action RPGs are definitely a favorite of mine, and there's a new one called Beast Quest available on PS4. But this is a quest that's worth taking on, or is this beast not worth slaying? Beast Quest is a relatively generic fantasy action RPG that tries a few interesting mechanics to stand out, but a few glaring flaws end up holding it back. In the game, you take the role of Tom, who's a pretty generic teenage adventurer, setting off with the guidance of a wizard in order to slay some monsters and free these guardian creatures that have been held captive by some sort of evil force. For the most part, everything about the game is just kind of pretty typical generic fantasy. You have a world with a few generic theme settings such as a forest, an ice, a fire area, and pretty standard monsters like wolves, lizards, golems, and an occasional big beast like a giant dragon. There's nothing inherently bad about anything you're going to see or areas you're going to travel through, it just isn't going to stand out and probably won't be memorable past the first minutes after you pass it. However, it's the game's battle system that ends up making it a bit different. Here, instead of having kind of a free-flow action RPG system, you instead transition to a battle screen where now you have kind of a third-person arena setting with the camera behind your character, and you're able to move them in this small little arena setting. You can move your character left or right around the enemies you're fighting as long as there's a space to do so. Obviously, some battles are more limited than others. You have strong and weak attacks that you'll be able to mix and match for some nice little combos, though it really isn't anything too advanced. As well as you can use a shield to block enemy attacks and even dodge out of the way of them. You can either straight up dodge by moving your character around the arena by using the top two trigger buttons, or you can just casually dodge out of the way using the joystick, and this will allow you, if you time it right, to get out of the way of an attack and be able to come back with a counter attack. It even reminded me a little bit of the classic Punch-Out or some games I played back on the Nintendo Wii. To help you as well, you'll also be able to upgrade a skill tree and get new skills. You have some pretty basic elemental type skill attacks that you'll be able to do like fire or wind, but you also have stuff that will increase your attack as well as increase your defense, health, and even speed. Using the haste-like spell to increase speed, though, made a lot of the late game areas relatively easy, as combined with increasing my attack, I was able to wipe through enemy parties in a matter of moments. Along with going through the main quest, there's also plenty of side quests you'll get in each new area that you explore. There's also a lot of treasure chests that are scattered throughout the world. You'll have to find keys of various kinds in order to open up these chests, and obviously ones that have a higher value like gold chests will have better items. There really isn't a lot to the equipment system or even a lot of items that you'll even be able to find in the game though. The biggest downsides for the game, other than it feeling relatively generic other than the battle system, is there are some performance issues like a bunch of texture pop-in and slowdown, though thankfully the game didn't crash on me. There was also some graphical glitches and clipping through certain areas while exploring. Along with that, the game has platforming in certain areas, and there's a legit half-second delay from when you press the jump button to when your character jumps, making a rhythm to the platforming a chore to kind of get down, and making it much more difficult to even do this very, very generic platforming that is included in the game. There's also a small handful of light puzzle elements throughout the game, like pushing blocks so that you can get up to higher areas, but nothing too challenging. Beast Quest is available now on the PS4 for $39.99, and it does feature a Platinum trophy. The trophies for the most part just involve getting all of the treasure chests, beating the game, and beating it on the hardest difficulty, as there are 3 difficulties to play the game on. Beast Quest is also available on the Xbox One and PC. Overall, Beast Quest is an okay action RPG that just has a few glaring flaws and a generic setting that hold it back. The game reminded me a bit in areas of Quest 64 from back in the day. It wanted to feel much more grander than it was, the small arena-like battles though a little bit different, the elemental style of attacks that didn't have a lot of depth to them, generic main hero, generic setting, and just overall generic theme. With everything said though, I'm still going to be giving Beast Quest on the PS4 a 5 out of 10. But anyway guys, going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.